Well, good afternoon. It's Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker. And today is Thursday, the 20th of March, 2025. And it is approximately 14:45. That's 2:45 p.m. Eastern Time, as I am in Piedmont, South Carolina. And I got delivery tomorrow morning at 0700 at Inman, I-N-M-A-N, I believe, South Carolina. I'm an hour away, and I called and verified the appointment, delivery appointment for 0700 tomorrow, and I asked the question, because I looked at the satellite map, and it's a medium-sized kind of a warehouse sort of building. It's not what you might call a real chemical plant, like some of the big monster plants in and around Houston. And so I asked for permission to spend the night on site so I didn't have to drive in that hour and start my clock. And he graciously granted my request. So I'm going to did my shower. I've been here for a little while because I was number 4 in line to get a shower, so I had to wait. But I got plenty of time. I was 6-hour drive from this morning from Shorter, Alabama, to here in Piedmont, South Carolina, right around 300 miles, 280, 300 miles, and with 50 miles yet to go to that delivery point for tomorrow morning. So there we go. And I'm very happy about being granted permission to spend the night on their site. Looked at the satellite map, saw how it was like, and so it looks like there's enough room for me to get in there, maneuver around, get in the way they want me to get in, set up and ready for tomorrow morning. The man I spoke to said he'd be doing the unloading, and so I feel very comfortable and confident going in there, get off the clock, do my nighttime break, minimum of 10 hours, which I'm still on the clock right now. And so I do, like I said, it's about 2:40, 2:45, almost, a few minutes before 3 o'clock. And so they close down at different stages of their operation, closed down between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So they didn't really want me to roll in until after 5 o'clock. And that's fine. So I got a little time, and when I came in, I had about 8.5 hours on my drive clock, and I'm only 1 hour away. So you can see that I'm doing all right on time. All right, let's introduce the equipment. And I used this razor the other day, about 2-3 videos ago, and I wanted to use it one more time before I put it away, put it back into my rotation and put the roll-up away, because I'm going to move away from it onto other razors. And that's the Blue Steel. There it is. Blue Steel Special. Faded out again. Can you see it? Can you see it? I don't know. Blue Steel Special. A little bit of a square point, American-made steel. And it's you can tell by looking at the blade that it has been restored. There's some, obviously some wave, but it's a beautiful razor. It's new scales. At the time it was refurbished. Got a little red wedge right there. And I think I said last time that I think this was J.R. Rowe that honed this up, California, Los Angeles, California. It's who I bought it from some years ago. And I just wanted to use it one more time before I put it away. So there's that. My soap is going to be Zingari Man. I believe that's Zingari Man. Yeah, Zingari Man, the Rambler, and has a very desert-like smell to it. It says tobacco, vanilla, and red fruit. And you can smell like a biting, almost sour citrus smell to it. It's got a addicting smell to it. All right, there's that. Now my brush, I don't use this brush very often. It's actually the very first quality or premium. It's a Super Badger 24 millimeter Volfix, and the label has long since worn off. I had to look, I couldn't remember the name Volfix, and so I just went looking on the internet at Super Badgers, and Volfix popped up pretty quick, actually. And now Volfix, I believe they were bought by Simpson, or one thing I saw before I came in is that Volfix bought Simpson, even though Simpson's the more popular brand. Volfix is known as being a very floppy sort of brush, bristles. There's no density here, as you might expect with a Chubby 3 Simpson or something like that. All right, well, let's get started. The sink water is quite hot, and I'm happy about that. The shower water was not hot, and the pressure was not very good. Now, I was asked a question on a recent video about, do I wash my face clean of lather between passes to apply, and then apply more water before applying the next round of lather? And I generally don't, even though I've thought about it, but that's just something that takes time. And it's just one more thing. And so I don't do that. Generally speaking, because my application of water is done by dipping my brush into my basin of water, and sometimes when my brush is loaded with lather, I'll take water. I may not be as graphic or as demonstrative as I'm doing right there, but I'll certainly dip it down in there with the lather on it, and that lather with water gets applied to my face, and there I am. There I go, I'm ready to go. Now, that's the way I like a lather to look. Some of these brands that are not Sterling Soap Company, I've not been real pleased with. I am beginning to go back through my rotation. I'm at the beginning. If you were to look at my closet at home, my Zingari soaps are actually at the head of my rotation. And so I'm kind of at the starting point. When I get to the old vintage, like Mitchell Wolfat, and I'm at the end to back my Ozma shaving soap. This is actually turning out quite nice. I was going to do a face massage, and I still might, but then again, maybe not. I'm certainly loading up my brush because it is floppy. Look at that. That's the way I like, generally speaking, a lather to look. It's well hydrated. I've always liked this soap. I think I've gone, it's been a while, but I think I've gone 3, maybe 4 cycles through all my soaps and come back to this Rambling Man by Zingari, and I do like it. And so if you try it, I think you can't go wrong. It's a good lathering soap, as you can see, and the scent is unique. All right, let's get it going here. I want to get back to the truck by 4:30-ish. I'm going to do my post-shave cleanup and stropping tonight after I've gotten where I'm going to park on their property for tonight. Look at that, good and clean right there. Very nice. I'm probably not going to do too much more talking. I want to concentrate on what I'm doing and working my way to getting done and back to the truck. When I go this direction, it feels pretty smooth. When I come back up, not so much. But that's just the beginnings of the first pass. So now I'm going to put more lather back on to cover my face. Now I'm going to put the lather back on. I'm going to rehydrate it, wet the brush. And that's what keeps my face hydrated. As I move to the left side of my face, the right side was covered. The right side's got moist, hydrated lather. And that's what keeps my face hydrated. I keep adding water, keep hydrating the lather. If I need to scrub up some more lather from the bowl, I will. I watched Sean Staplefeld's little shorty on a shave yesterday where he's showing his Lewis and Clark soap. I don't know much about the company or the soap, but I've always been very interested in Lewis and Clark as the explorers that they were, 1804, 1805, going from St. Louis, commissioned by Thomas Jefferson to explore the western part of what would become the United States, the Northwest Territory, the state of Oregon, find a passage through the West. And so I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. You know, God forgive me, it's all right. I survived, but that's before it got as crazy as it is today. And then my wife and I, we had our little vacation trip a few years ago. I guess it's almost coming up on what, 4 years that we did that trip, 3-4 years. And the end of the trail for Lewis and Clark was a place called Seaside, Oregon. And Seaside, Oregon is a place that I have frequented growing up, living in Portland, going out to the beach, 90 miles away to Seaside. And if you have followed my adventures for very long, you may recall that I go out to Portland, Oregon on occasion, and right there, and I always stay at the Love's Truck Stop in Troutdale, Oregon. Well, not more than a mile away from that location. The Sandy River comes down to the Columbia River. And where the Sandy River comes into the Columbia River, that area on the south side of Interstate 84, if you look at a map, you'll see what I'm talking about, is an area known as the Lewis and Clark State Park. And it's just a picnic ground is really what it is. Sponsored by the state of Oregon. There's a few placard signs out there about why they named it Lewis and Clark State Park. And I believe they actually stayed there, or at least one of them did. As they were doing their geological survey. so forth and so on. But it's always been a desire of mine, since they have the picnic ground there and the picnic tables, and I wanted to take a large pan, go get some water out of the Sandy River, and do a shave sitting at a picnic table with a pan of water drawn from the Sandy River. At the Lewis and Clark State Park. And you know, when I go out there, if you, again, I say, if you've been with me very long, you know, I always go see my high school buddy that he and I have stayed in touch all these years. And he would be out there to assist me in some way or another, either with the camera or water, or maybe even starting a fire in a fire pit, and from water drawn from the river. All right, that's the end of the first pass. Now we go across the grain. So I burnt up about 5.5, 6 hours today. I burnt up right at 10.5 hours yesterday. So I'm sitting at about 18 hours that I've burnt up so far on 70 hours. Let's just call it 20 for the sake of argument. That leaves me 50 hours and 20 hours back, and that'll leave me approximately 30 hours off my 70. And I don't know if my boss intends to send me elsewhere to burn up those 30 hours. He might send me to Odessa. That would be my guess. But we'll see. Okay. I've had a couple of new subscribers here recently, and I say thank you. If you're watching me now, thank you. I'm just shaving with a straight razor. My only unique claim is that it's a straight razor. Which a lot of people don't do. It's kind of a I won't say it's a diminishing hobby or interest. It's just there's not a lot of people who do it. That's all. And new people coming in may not be as a higher rate as it once was, say maybe 5 or 10 years ago. There are still lots of forums out there, if you go for that, which I have run the gauntlet, and I'm not interested in the forums. Speaking of the forums, I was happy to see that certain sponsors of the San Francisco Gay Pride event have withdrawn their support and membership, among them Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light. And I just can't tell you how tickled I am over that, and which kind of serves as one of the main reasons I am not a part of one of the forums. But that's all I'll say about that. There's always somebody. Somebody's gotten into one of the shower rooms and cranked up a radio, cranked up a music player on their iPhone or something. I suppose they think they've got to entertain the entire store with their outbursts. Why? Why do they think that I need to be subjected to their tomfoolery? Nope, I'm not interested. I don't like it when people do that. If I were to crank up some of the stuff I like, they'd be knocking at my door real fast. Oh, turn it down, turn it down. You're disturbing our patrons. Now, I'll probably get a copyright infringement because of whatever it is he's playing. It comes through on my recording. Okay. All right, that feels pretty good. And so we're gonna call that complete on the face shave. And yeah, I'm gonna do a head shave. Of course I always do, don't I? And the razor I'm going to use on my head shave is the old George Wostenholme. There we go. Yeah. And it did real good last time. I got some good Elvis Presley on my iPhone. I wonder if I ought to fire it up. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Or hunk a hunk of burning. I got good lines showing there on my sideburn. I'm pleased with that. Just about done. Do the back of my neck, and that won't take but a minute or two. I had about, well, what did I say? It was about 240, 245. So I had right at about just a little over 48 hours, 2 days worth of whiskers on my face. And so I'm glad I had this opportunity, or took this opportunity. Even though I'm still on the clock, and I'm not crazy about that, but I got plenty of time. To my usual fellows, I say thank you for watching. I apologize I haven't been able to stay up as much as I would like with my video viewing, your videos. It has been a very difficult few weeks. I've been worried about my health, getting adjusted to my new job, which has been no small thing. Most of the jobs, not all, but most of the jobs that I've had my adult life have been what you might call long-term jobs. 10 years or close to 10 years each. And there are certain things in life that will just nearly kill you if you let them. Divorce and losing a job. And one of those is enough, but you go through 2, 3, 4 of those over long periods of time. Anyway, that's my life. Thank you for joining me. Got it done in less than an hour, and that's a good thing. I can get back to the truck and get underway. I'm gonna do my post-shave cleanup after I get stopped on my customer's property in about an hour or so. So I will see you down the road.